It was supposed to be just another fun, lighthearted interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Clint Eastwood, the legendary actor and director, had been invited on the show to promote his latest film. The audience was excited, and Jimmy Kimmel, always known for his playful banter, had prepared his usual jokes and antics. But something unusual was about to unfold. As Clint walked onto the stage, the applause was thunderous, the kind reserved only for the biggest stars. He gave his signature half-smile and nodded to the audience. Jimmy greeted him warmly, but there was a shift in the air. Kimmel, ever the comedian, began with his typical sarcastic remarks, joking about Clint's age and poking fun at his serious roles. But when Jimmy teased Clint about his stoic nature and suggested that perhaps Clint had become too grumpy for Hollywood, something inside Clint seemed to snap. Clint didn't laugh. He didn't throw a witty comeback. Instead, his expression hardened slightly, a quiet storm brewing behind those usually calm eyes. Jimmy continued, unaware of the tension rising in the air. The crowd laughed at his jokes, but Clint's demeanor grew colder with each passing second. Then Jimmy crossed a line. He made a joke about Clint being too old to understand social media and mocked his outdated views on modern culture. That was the tipping point. Clint's eyes narrowed, and with a composed but deliberate movement, he stood up from his chair. The audience fell silent, unsure of what was happening. He looked at Jimmy, then at the camera, and without a word turned and walked off the stage. The sound of his footsteps echoed in the studio as the entire room froze. For a moment it felt like time had stopped. Jimmy Kimmel, the host, was left speechless. His playful grin had disappeared, replaced by an awkward silence. The camera lingered on Clint's retreating figure as the audience sat in stunned disbelief. This wasn't just another celebrity walk-off. This was Clint Eastwood, a man who had made a career of portraying strong, silent heroes, sending a message, without uttering a single word. The producers scrambled, and Kimmel, still visibly shaken, tried to recover by throwing out a few awkward jokes. But the damage had been done. The entire dynamic of the show had shifted. What had started as a lighthearted interview had turned into an unforgettable moment that would go down in history. Clint's walk-off quickly made headlines around the world. It wasn't just the act itself that got attention. It was the powerful silence that accompanied it. Clint Eastwood, a man who had spent decades building a reputation of strength, dignity, and seriousness, had quietly but firmly shown the world that there were lines even he wasn't willing to cross. Hollywood had long been known for its entertainment-driven antics and superficial exchanges, but Clint had just delivered a lesson in integrity, a silent rebellion against the industry's obsession with mockery and shallow entertainment. The message was loud and clear. Some things are not for laughs. The incident sparked discussions across social media, with people praising Clint for standing up for his values in a world that often values shock value over substance. In the days that followed, Clint remained characteristically quiet about the incident. He didn't issue a statement, he didn't do any follow-up interviews, his silence spoke volumes. It was clear that Clint's walk-off wasn't just about a late-night talk show. It was about the state of Hollywood itself. He had always been a man of few words, but his actions had sent ripples through the entertainment industry. Actors, directors, and producers began to reflect on the way they treated their peers, especially those who had been in the industry as long as Clint. The entire episode shifted Hollywood's focus. The industry, known for its reliance on sensationalism and public spectacle, found itself confronted with a new kind of respect for privacy, dignity, and authenticity. As time passed, the walk-off became a symbol of quiet defiance in an industry that often felt too loud and too eager for attention. Clint Eastwood's decision to leave without explanation, to not engage in the chaos of the moment, spoke volumes to both his peers and the public. It reminded everyone that strength doesn't always come with a roar. Sometimes it comes in the form of stepping away and making a statement without saying a word. The shift wasn't immediate, but it was profound. Hollywood slowly began to embrace a new kind of respect for its stars, especially the ones who had been around long enough to earn it. Clint Eastwood had reminded the world that sometimes the most powerful thing a person can do is simply walk away.